Okay, gonna be sharpening up another knife today. I'm gonna be sharpening up a boning knife used to cut up meats. I'm gonna start off with the 220 grit, work up through the 3000 grit polishing tapes. See, we'll test the sharpness of the knife before I get going. It's actually kind of sharp, but not really. Definitely needs to be redone. Tearing here a little bit. This part of the knife here is a little bit sharp. The back is definitely not. You hear it catching there. Try it again so you can see if you can hear it. Get a little closer. See right there how it's getting, wants to catch it. We'll fix that. This knife here is not in terrible shape, but it does need to be sharpened. It is not as good as it could be. I guess is the moral of the story. Like I said, start off with the 220 grit, work up through the 3000 grit polishing tapes. I polish these types of knives because they do cut meat better when they're polished, as opposed to just stopping at the 1200 grit like I do with vegetable knives. The typical chef knives that cut vegetables, fruits with. Good, got a nice, even, consistent burr. The thing I learned with this Edge Pro sharpening system is sometimes I get caught up in sharpening and don't slow down. You want to move the stone slow. You don't want to move it fast. If you move it fast, it won't cut as efficiently. You're just going to wear your stone out. A little bit more in there. Burr's not quite consistent. In the last video I did, the chef's knife that was pretty bad. Lots of chips, flat spots on the edges, roll spots. Had a complete reprofile. Kind of took a long time. This one here won't take nearly as long, because it's not nearly as bad a shape as the chef's knife that I did for the same customer. Oh yeah, there we go. Nice even, consistent burr. Go up to the 400 grit. After I set my double with my first stone with the stock collar. Do this to compensate for the thicknesses, the different thicknesses in the stones. Each stone kind of wears a little bit differently. The lower grit stones will wear faster typically than the higher grit stones. So instead of remarking the edge for each stone, it's kind of a time saver using the stock collar. It's a neat little trick. Getting the stone clean from our prior sharpening. Try to get off as much of the metal slurry, little tiny metal fragments out of the stone, which is possible. It works better when it's cleaner. The noise you hear in the clicking, that's the knife edge hitting the ramp on the stone arm. Doesn't hurt the edge, just makes it more efficient using the stone, in case you're wondering. I typically do 2 passes with each stone. Just kind of a habit of doing it. I don't know if I necessarily have to, but that way I make sure I get that entire edge. Again, try to go slow with the stone. Don't want to roll off the tip and round off the tip. Sometimes you go too fast, you will do that. You've got to redo it. Alright, got a burr along the entire edge. That's what we're looking for. I guess I'm just going to keep going up in grits. Like I said, use very, very light pressure in the 600 grit stone. You don't use it hardly any pressure at all. Look at it, the camera angle makes it look like I'm putting a lot of pressure on there, but I'm not. Putting just enough where the stone cuts it. Not a lot. Burr. Let's get to the goal. When I'm doing this knife here, I'm holding the knife on the, it's called the flat of the blade. There's two descriptions of the side of the knife. You got your flat, which is this part here near the spine. That's flat with the whole tang. Then you got your face, which includes the flat spot and the bevel here. You got a secondary bevel and a primary bevel. If I can hold on the flat, I'd rather do that. Sometimes you can't, depending on the geometry of the blade. But in this case, I can. So the angles on the machine will be accurate. But even though I'm only following the factory edge and factory bevel on this one, because the knife was not in that bad a shape, but it did need to be touched up. Knock off that microscopic burr there. You can hear that. She's getting relatively sharp. And from here, I'm going to go up to the 2000 grit. These polishing tapes, as their name implies, they will put a really nice polish on the edge. And they sharpen as well, but in doing so, because it's such a high grit, they polish, refine that scratch pattern on that edge. When I get done with the 3000 grit, it'll look like a mirror. Just put a couple of drops of water to help keep her clean. You can use these, I don't know, 5-10 times depending on the condition of them. They can stay relatively in decent shape. This one's all right, getting close to being needing to be redone, new one put on. When I use these polishing tapes, I like to take off any burr that's on there whatsoever, because the burr could catch the polishing tape and cut it. And this here, you're not going to hear anything. It's going to be really, really quiet because it's so fine of a grit. And with these, I use very, very little pressure. Start using too much pressure with these, especially, you're just going to cut the tape. Don't need hardly any pressure. I do like to kind of buff out the edge so it's all consistent and even, nice shine. Mainly for cosmetics. Like right there, I went too far off the edge and I tore the tape. As you can see, it's only tore that end. I'll just use the front part of it and just replace it when I'm done. I'm so used to using the ramp on the edge of the arm, you just can't use the ramp with the tapes because it'll catch the edge of the tape, tear it like I just did. Doesn't hurt the edge, just my tape. she's getting pretty sharp, that's for sure. Very sharp. But we're going to get it even sharper. Again, very little pressure. This is where I like the Edge Pro, because I'm able to angle this knife just a tiny bit to make sure I get that whole edge. Sometimes towards the tip, where the belly of the knife swings up, sometimes the bevel will get wider than the bevel towards the back of the knife, but when you angle the knife, there's a tiny bit twisting it on top of the table, bringing that edge closer to the stone. It prevents that. That's one reason why I really like the Edge Pro. And it's all about feel, practice. You get the feel of it, you'll be able to do it. Using the Deburring Block to remove the microscopic burr that's on there. I don't do that between every stone because you don't need to with the actual sharpening stones as opposed to the tapes. The tapes you definitely need to. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the shine from the light from the camera angle, but I'll try to show it to you when I'm done. But I can see it from here. Looks good. She's sharp. Let's see if I can show you that edge. Yeah, I can't show it to you. It won't pick up on the camera. She's there though. She's definitely shiny. Alright, done with the stones. Now I'm going to use a strop. I got a big boy strop from Stropman.com. His strops are phenomenal. He does such a good job making strops. The leather's nice and stiff, which is what I like. I don't like the soft leathers because you gotta be careful with soft leather because they can roll over the edge as you're stropping and basically dull your knife. That is very possible. A lot of people do it. But with this strop, doesn't quite do that at all. Adjust the angle of the camera a little bit so you can see me do this. don't know if I'll be able to, if you'll be able to see the full. Try to stay out of the way of the camera. I start at the tip, kind of go very light strokes, follow the edge, alternating sides. Starting off with the black compound, which is his coarsest compound. Well, I think it's, I want to say it's 4 micron. I could be wrong. I may have to look that up, but I think that's what he doesn't really give it the exact micron level because it varies too much with the leather and the compound that he uses. But I have all 4 of his compounds. We got the black, which is the coarsest, the white, which is the next finest. Then I got the green compound, which I know is, I think that's 0.5 micron, or the white's 2.5. And then I end with the red, which is right around 0.125 micron, which mainly puts a really nice polish on there. As I'm doing this, I'm kind of knocking down the shoulder a little bit on the bevel, making it a more of a convex grind as opposed to a typical V grind. My experience and opinion, the convex grind cuts meat so much better than a V grind. So I won't strop knives used for vegetables. It puts a too fine of an edge on there. You want a little bit of a toothy edge for vegetables so it can cut the skin. And I don't count strokes, I just kind of do it. I don't roll the knife off the edge of the strop. So I'll ruin the edge, I'll run around the edge. Very little pressure. Okay. So this is all feel and sound, that's all stropping is. Okay. Alright. I don't like to cross-contaminate compounds, so I always clean off the edge after each strop. And then rotate the block over to the white. I kind of want to follow the sweep of the blade to an extent. I kind of want to pull the edge straight across the leather. Like I said, there's a ton of different techniques for stropping. I'm not saying that mine's perfect or mine's the end-all be-all. It's just the way I do it, and it works. I'm sure there's other techniques of stropping. Some people start at the heel of the blade, work to the tip. I start at the tip, work to the heel. And I use very little pressure. Some people use a lot of pressure. But after I finish on that 3000 grit polishing tape, I don't need to put a lot of pressure. I don't have to. I'm just looking to just really refine it, because I did a good job as it is. I could have stopped there technically, but this makes this a little bit better. It's more of a convex grind to it. And I'll strop all pocket knives, unless you don't want it stropped. All pocket knives, hunting knives, outdoor knives, steak knives, any knife used to cut proteins, cut meats, fillet knives. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's ridiculously sharp now, and I haven't done yet. I'm onto the green side, which I said, which is right around 0.5 microns. You don't have to go fast on a strop either. I like to go slow so I don't A, cut my strop at the tip, and B, make sure I get a nice even amount of pressure along the entire edge, so it's all cuts the same. Yeah, she's getting scary sharp now. And like I said, here's the red compound. You can use plain leather at this point, but this red compound so fine it puts a nice polish on the edge. Yeah, and unless you nick your blade, roll the, break the tip or badly roll the edge or flatten it or something, you drop the knife or something. If you don't do any of that and you see routine maintenance on your blade, you could get a strop and you could basically strop your knife to hair popping sharp, just like barbers do with their razors. You don't have to go to stones very often because they're always stropping them. Just keeps refining that edge. Hopefully I'm not blocking the camera. I do apologize if I am. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to keep my technique down, my angle. Sorry for the background noise if you can hear that. Alright, now let's see how she cuts paper. Oh yeah, a lot better than initially. No more catching like it was before. Cutting all the way through to the tip. Very quiet too. Yeah, I'm push cutting this paper, most of it. That's a push cut right there. It's stupid sharp right now. Just nice and thin. It's like me curly cues. Oh. Really thin right there. I don't know if you can see that or not on the camera. It's just effortless. A little too thin there, it tore it, but it's hair popping sharp right now. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Catch you guys later.